Welcome back to the Hoedown Showdown. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and that was Raised You Better by our final featured guest of the week, Mackenzie O'Brien. How's it going today?
Great. How are you, Tom?
Doing well, doing really well. It's just ungodly hot here in Texas, but I guess that's kind of what I signed up for, right?
I guess so. Yeah, it doesn't get cool for a while there
Yeah,
down
for
in
sure, for sure.
Texas.
So you're based out of Chicago or the Chicagoland area. I'm not going to say Chicago because I don't want to piss off the people from the city there, but you're based out of the north side of the north suburbs of Chicago. Born and raised. What was it like growing up on the north side for you?
It was honestly a dream. Like I loved it at the time growing up, the grass is always greener on the other side. So it would have been cool if I grew up in like California where there's an ocean. But I think in my 25 years, I've learned to love it because I'm an hour north of the city,
Hmm.
Chicago, but I'm also kind of in the country.
Hmm.
So it's like you get that sort of country living and then you can have city living. We're not too far from Milwaukee too, so it's like you have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I never when I lived in Chicago or South Chicago for 22 years, and I never went to Wisconsin. Like it was just not something that I did. I maybe went once or twice, just kind of randomly, because my grandparents lived in Rockford, and so they're
Uh-huh.
literally like not far. So every once in a while we may have
Right.
gone, but I left, and I've been to Wisconsin more since I've in the 10 years that I've left than I did like all 22 years that I lived like an hour and a half from the border.
That
So.
is crazy. I mean, I love the city of Chicago because they've been really good to me with
Mhm.
my music and stuff, but I feel like in a lot of ways Wisconsin is better than Illinois
Yeah.
in terms of like beauty and country music and I don't know. I love both though.
As long as I can get with Wisconsin just as long as they don't make me watch that Green Bay football. I let me watch my Chicago football. I'm content. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
I
so
agree with you.
awesome. So growing up on the north side of Chicago, where does music kind of work its way in? Was it like always there for you, or
Mhm.
did that kind of come in later in life?
It was always a part of my life. I think because of my dad. He I remember this vividly because when I was in elementary school, I would like download all of his songs from iTunes
Hmm.
because I guess back in the day we didn't have a Spotify or there's cool streaming platforms, so we had to buy all of the music. And so I would just listen to his music, and a lot of it was like ABBA and Bruce Springsteen. And so I kind of fell in love with older songs. And then in high school, I loved like indie music and underground stuff. And I thought I was so hipster. It's so cool, even though I was such a dork. And then, I mean, we always listen to country music too. So it's always been a part of my life for sure.
Nice. That's really cool. Like I feel like Chicago is that cool little area where you go on each side of the city and it's like its own
Hmm.
ecosystem where
Yeah.
yes, on the in the south suburbs we had people that listened to country music, but you had to go to like Springfield or Kankakee to really get out in the country. You had to like go
Yeah,
another hour south of us just to get into the country. So I don't feel like a lot of people are
for sure.
listening to country like that. Um,
Yeah. Mhm.
but it's really cool just how diverse that part of Illinois is, because it's like
Yeah.
2 or 3 hours you could be in the city, you could be in the suburbs, you could be in the country. Heck, you
Yeah.
could be in the middle of nowhere in the matter of 2 hours in Illinois.
That is so true. And I pretty much drive through the whole state of Illinois when I'm driving to Nashville. And I go to Nashville probably like once a season just to write down there and meet up with some friends.
Yes.
And so as soon as you're out of the city,
Yeah.
a little bit past Kankakee,
Yep.
people have Southern accents.
Yep.
And it's
Yep.
like, it's just crazy.
Yeah. I remember the first time so I went to Southern Illinois University for school.
Okay.
And I remember the first time I went to like orientation before classes started, and everybody was talking with like their little southern draws and all that stuff, and I'm like, this is Illinois. Like I was used to it in like Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia when
Yeah.
we'd go on family vacations and whatnot, but
Mhm.
Illinois, it was like y'all, well, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's like,
it,
isn't this the Midwest, you
right,
know? But
yeah,
I
uh,
guess I
yeah,
guess not.
yeah. I agree. Um, so kind of jumping back into your music, where does your passion for writing come from?
I guess my passion for writing, I didn't always have a passion for writing, and I am more of a melody person,
Mhm.
and maybe that's just I don't know, I'm, like, really into, like, personality types and Enneagram, so, like, I'm an ISFP and I'm an Enneagram 9 wing 8, so, like, sensory stuff is just I feel like comes more natural to
Mm,
me, and so I just love sounds and stuff, and, when I went to Nashville, I saw real just true songwriters down there, and that really inspired me, and it kind of lit a spark, and I was like, I'm not the best at writing, but
mhm.
I have to practice it and work at it, and I feel like now the passion has sort of blossomed for songwriting.
Nice. So it took a little bit of time for the songwriting passion to kind of come in.
For sure, and I think that was more of, like, a vulnerability thing. I
Mhm.
had to, like, learn how to be vulnerable with myself in my writing.
Gotcha, gotcha. Was it was there like a lack of confidence in your writing that you just
Yeah.
didn't fall in love with it right away, or was it just like you said, your vulnerability? Which one was kind of the more pressing tipping point for
Mm.
you?
I think it was, my lack of confidence because, like, I did not have a lot of confidence growing up, and in school, I
Mhm.
was, like, a straight C student. I was not very good at it.
Yeah.
My mom, like, thought I had, like, ADD or something because I was always staring out the window, and, I would just had to meet with my teachers because they were like, "I don't know what it is with Mackenzie," I was kind of off in my own world, so I think just me believing that I was not smart, growing up, I think transpired into the songwriting part because I thought, well, there's no way I could ever be good at this,
For
which is
sure.
a lie because anybody could write a song.
Yes, yes, yes. I agree. You can always grow and you can always
Yeah.
change for the better. I was very similar to you. I was very much a C student, like average, staring out the window. English and math were not my subjects. And I was like, I had a teacher that told me, you know what? Luckily, computers are getting really good. This is like in the 90s before computers can do 90% of the stuff they do now. And I had a teacher who was like, luckily, computers are getting really smart. So the fact that you don't know how to spell that well, the computer
Yeah.
is going to save you for that. And I always kind of resented him for that because it's like, but that doesn't sound right. I don't know it, but yeah. So
But, like, nowadays, like, people are writing with artificial
yeah,
intelligence, so it's like, maybe you don't even have to learn to no, I'm just kidding,
yeah,
but I don't
right,
know, it's, like, crazy now.
yeah. Oh, so you dropped a new single. Was it earlier this month or was it last month?
It was earlier last month, I think in the middle of July.
Okay, yeah, July 26th. I had it written down. I was like, where are my
I don't
notes?
even remember.
Yeah, so it was end of July, called Gone Before I Got Here. What's the story behind this song?
This is a fun one because, this is another breakup song, and I'm pretty sure it's about the same guy too, so if you listen to Raise You Better and Gone Before I Got Here, got a lot of inspo from that dude. And what happened was we were dating for a while, and we would just kind of like fight here and there because like we both didn't want the same things.
Mhm.
It was really bad, really messy. He ended up being a little bit more controlling in the relationship. And a lot of times, guys would get controlling over my music career and things like that, maybe because of jealousy or
Mhm.
whatever, lack of confidence. And so I was playing at a gig in Burlington, Wisconsin. I don't know if you've been to Burlington, Wisconsin.
I've been through. Yes. Yeah.
All right, all
Yeah.
right. There's this brewery there, and he brought all of his friends, and I think we got in a little tiff before that, but when I talked to him after the show, he just kind of like blew up at me in front of
Mm.
his friends. I was so embarrassed. He like left, stormed off, and I remember my mom driving me home and I cried the whole way home. But I should have been like, screw you, I'm
Hmm.
done, like right there and then. But sometimes it doesn't always transpire that way. But
Yeah.
the day after was Valentine's Day.
Oh wow.
And so I still went out with him because he had dinner reservations. But
Yeah.
as soon as he did that that night, I was done.
Hmm.
And so I think the idea of Gone Before I Got Here was about me being done with the relationship before we broke up.
Yeah. For sure. It's a you know that's just an interesting situation all around, and the premise is
Mhm.
I think that's something that a lot of people can relate with, where it's like, in the back of your mind that
Yeah.
this person isn't right or this situation isn't right. I'm leaving, but I just
Mhm.
haven't put anything into motion yet. So I definitely think
Yeah.
it's something that a lot of people can relate with. Oh, so this is your first single this year, and actually, it's the first single you've released in a little bit, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
How does it
It's
feel
exciting.
be back to releasing music?
It feels really good. I was honestly more nervous this time, and I think as I get older, I'm getting more vulnerable with my
Mm.
writing. And so I actually heard some advice recently, and they said if you're not nervous to put out a song, then that's a bad thing.
Right.
And so I was like, all right, well, I'll just take that and go with it.
Yeah, that's actually really good advice because it just shows that you care about
Hmm.
how the song does, you care about how
Yeah.
people receive it. And it's like if you're just putting music out and it's like, oh, okay, and you're just not nervous and you're just kind of in the flow. It's different of just kind of being in the flow state and it's just being kind
Hmm.
of second nature. But if you're just putting it out and it's like, meh, if it fails, it fails. If it does, or if it does well, cool. I think there's a little bit of a difference there where it's like you can be in the flow state and just kind of in the groove of releasing music, but still be nervous. But if you're
Yeah.
just releasing music for the sake of releasing music, it's like, okay, that's maybe that's not a good thing. So
Totally agree with
yeah.
you 100%.
So, oh, so is Gone Before I Got Here? Are you leading to another, or leading to like an album, or do you kind of see yourself just kind of doing singles for the next little bit?
So the EP coming out is called Quarter Life Crisis,
Mm.
because I just turned 25
Yeah,
and these are the songs that came out of my quarter life
yeah,
crisis. But we're releasing them one at a time. So
okay,
Gone Before I Got Here is out, and then another song, Mean Girl, is coming out in September.
nice, that's nice. And how many songs will be on the EP?
5 songs total.
Cool, cool, cool. It's what's kind of running through your mind as you're like, it's just kind of beginning this process of releasing this EP?
Um, to be honest, nerves. Lots and lots of nerves because I just care about it so much. And there are some songs on here that I don't know how they're going to be received because they're just a little bit out there.
Eh, out there's good. I get behind that. So.
Thank you.
But I can't wait to check out the rest of the EP. I hope everybody enjoys Gone Before I Got Here. But before we throw them to the next musical break, people want to check out your music, support you online, shows, all that fun stuff. Where's the best place to find you?
Awesome. Well, the number one place I would say would be our website, and it's www.mackenzieobrien.com. And it's Mackenzieobrien. And then you can follow me on Instagram. It's Mackenzie O'Brien. N. There's two N's
Mm.
off of it because, yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Awesome, awesome. Well, Mackenzie, thank you so much for hanging out with us. It was an absolute blast chatting with you. It's always great to sit down and talk with a fellow Chicagoan. I'm going to say it if anybody has a problem with it.
Hell yeah.
So it's always
Go
great
White
to,
Sox.
yep, go White Sox next year. We'll say, like, yeah, but not to get too deep into that one. But really appreciate you sitting down to chat with us. We're going to leave you all here with one last song by Mackenzie O'Brien called Gone Before I Got Here.